It is the Country Bear Jamboree edition of Russell and Hunter's The Brewmance Friday Nooner. Rob is in Stagecoach. Stagecoach? Is that something right? Yeah.
That's
Bear
it. Yeah.
Country Jamboree. How far Rob has come. When I met Rob, he was a standard masshole straight out of Massachusetts. Thumbed his nose at people that had firearms and only listened to hip hop music, or R&B music. And this basically, he said the words, "I don't listen to white music." Rob is now a happy firearm owner. He has hunted with me a few times, and he is currently in an RV at a 4-day country music festival or 3-day country music festival. Look at this stuff. Look at this guy. Holy cow, dude. Look at you guys are touring with the Dead.
Right.
Holy, okay. All right. Yeah, Rob's in. Rob is all in. How you doing, buddy? You enjoying the show?
Yeah, the music starts today. Yesterday was like the warm-up day, so it's just basically one big party. So Coachella has tents, and they have layers and layers of tents. Stagecoach, same place, does it all in RVs. There are multiple parking lots filled with RVs. It's insane. So one party was bumped until 3 a.m. last night. The next one started at 6:30 this morning. The one right across the way that way. So yeah, we've been up listening to country music basically for 24 hours at this point.
Okay, there you have it. Anything you're okay? So who's the big headliner tonight?
Eric Church is the big headliner tonight.
That's a solid show. I know everybody's going to go off on he's anti-gun. He's not anti-gun. He's just a little misinformed on some things, but puts on one hell of a show, man. I saw him in concert. Puts on one hell of a show. And you said Dwight Yoakam's going to be there too.
Dwight Yoakam's playing. Leon Bridges is who I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of Beach Boys are playing, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if they're 2 out of 4. I'm not sure. We'll see.
Who are the other headliners?
Oh man, offhand, I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, I'll look that up as you talk. How about that?
Yeah. I'm like, what? Yeah, drawing a blank.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, how do I keep reminding myself? People said, "Where's Rob?" I have to remind myself because I've called that thing the Bear Country Jamboree since it started. So calling it Stagecoach, and then there's Wagon Wheel, and then there's Country Thunder. I just get them all confused. I'm telling you, I get all confused. So big news today. It is now out. Axios, believe it or not, is reporting on this. This comes from Axios. This isn't like just Fox News or Newsmax reporting that Joe Biden now needs a walker. Not one of those walkers. An aide or a team of aides. Yeah, the ones little tennis balls at the bottom of them. Makes sense. Or a team of aides that will walk between the press pool and Joe Biden for 2 reasons on his way to Marine One. The reasons are so he does not talk to the press, and that the campaign is afraid that his gait will make him look old, which he is, as old as dirt. Yeah. So here we go. Joe Biden and his walker. Look at that. There you go. Before and after. Yep, can't have it now. He can wave. Yeah. She's like, shut up, old man. Do not say a word. You say a word, I will break your hip. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving. Sir, keep moving. I swear I will call Jill. Do not make me call Jill. Stop pointing at people. Just walk, sir. Just walk. Can we get to level ground? Yeah. That's that. That's her job. Mm-hmm. And there's an entire team of people that are going to be doing that for him. So it's really from here on out, it is at all costs protect Joe Biden and the way he looks. Rob, you might have missed it earlier in the week where Joe Biden was reading the teleprompter. He said the words 4 more years, squinted at the teleprompter and said, pause. Yeah. This is the man
presidential material.
People will vote for. Very intelligent people that I know are just diehard. I actually made a bet with somebody on if it's Biden and Trump. I actually made a bet on Trump for a really nice steak dinner. The other one has to cut the other dude's steak.
Wow, it's like fantasy football. If you lose, you wear a Speedo around for 2 days or something like that. That's basically the equivalent of that. Cut my steak. Let's go. I love this.
Is that a punishment?
Yeah. Watching somebody cut your steak? Yeah.
No, banana hammock for 2 days in a row. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, why not?
No,
show it off.
My kids actually bought me a Speedo for Father's Day one day as a gift. I just walked in my room, put it on, came out, and that's what I'm wearing. They were mortified. Absolutely mortified. You want to shut things down like that? That's how you shut things down.
Play into it, baby.
And how many times? What's
Go
that?
ahead, Mike. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I
No, no,
mean,
no.
and how many times has Joe Biden made his entire staff just cringe like that and go, "We're never doing this again. We can't do this again." Bro, he was on Howard Stern this morning. Howard Stern's fawning all over him, just, "Oh, my dear leader, and this saved me from COVID and everything. You just save me, save me." Joe Biden, I'm trying to think of the lies. I listened to about 10 minutes of it. And in those 10 minutes, he lied about, he said he saved a half a dozen lives as a lifeguard. Mm-hmm. He was arrested while protesting during the civil rights marches. He was arrested on his porch. He was just simply on a porch, and he was
Hanging
arrested.
out.
He was watching a protest, and he was arrested. And I forget the other one that he went. It just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. And I don't understand. Just get the hook. Get the hook and pull this guy off stage. Go back to how you ran the campaign the first time. Get in your basement, give him a teleprompter, and make it happen.
I mean, that's their only option, right? And that's what we're seeing here. That exact same thing, because they're running on Donald Trump. That's it. Because they've tried for 3 years to build up Joe Biden's record, but there's no record to build up. So naturally, they're doing this, I don't know why, to make it seem like he doesn't need a walker, president of the United States, to make it seem like he's not as old as he is, or that with age comes wisdom or something. But yes, it's almost, I don't even know how to describe this, Mike. It's almost like watching a television show you don't like anymore, but you've invested so much time into it. You're like, might as well just finish it. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like with Joe Biden. And it's not even a good TV show. It's not even that good. It's a mediocre TV show that's like episodic, and you get the same thing every time. But you're like, all right, just keep watching it.
What they call them in Game of Thrones? When they call White Walkers?
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, White Walkers. Here we go. Okay. It's back to it. Oh, my gosh. That's it right there. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there you have it. Yeah. And Joe Biden is to look at that man and just say, I'm going to vote for him, and not just abstain and say, I'm not going to vote. I'm just not going to vote is mind blowing to me that you would put that and say, yes, that man that I'm putting here is qualified and will last 4.5 years from this point. I can't get my head around it.
Well, and I think it just comes down to that fact, right? I read this about elections once, and it sums it up pretty well. Automatically, you get 40% Republican, 40% Democrat. At the end of the day, very rarely does a presidential candidate get under 40% of the vote, despite the candidate, right? Even Nixon left office with a 25% approval rating. So 25% diehards, 40% in for all the parties, and then there's that 20% in the middle that Mike and I often talk about. That one time they go this way, another time they go this way. That's really what this election is about. So this Howard Stern interview for Biden seems to be just to make sure the 40% know that he's still alive. Like, yeah, he's still alive. I mean, he's not 100%, but he's alive, and he's better than the other guy. But it's not going to do anything to move the needle for that 20%. That's where they're just going to continue to slam Trump at every opportunity. I even saw Biden made fun of Trump's hair the other day. I'm like, Joe, anyone who tries to do this with Trump loses. Yeah, stop. It's just stupid. Like, don't go there, man.
Yeah, you thought Sleepy Joe was bad enough. Wait till you start insulting him and giving him nicknames. He's coming back at you, bro. And he's gonna go right for the jugular. Lynn said I uses a walker and it's a chick magnet. Now that's the point, Lynn. You got to be like Joe Biden and use the chick as a walker. You see what I'm saying? You can see where you got to lure him in and be like, hey, you want to help me out? That's how it works. Just simple free advice from your buddies Mike and Rob. It's obvious to the rest of the free world. It's obvious to our enemies that this is just not going to end well for Biden and his entire legacy. It's just already tarnished as statistically the worst presidency we've had in a hot damn minute, and if not ever. And this just keeps piling on. I don't know how you survive through the entire summer into November with moves like this, where you have to have walkers get between him and by the way, it's Axios again. It's a very left-leaning. They love them some Biden. They hate them some Trump. Like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're in the RFK Jr. camp. Who knows?
Well, yeah, that's going to be – I'm really curious to see how significant of a factor RFK is, because that is that wild card almost protest vote where a lot of people don't like either one of these candidates, don't want to redo the last election, yet here we are. So is it 5%? Is it 15%? Ross Perot got, I think, 19 point something. So we'll call it 20%. And that
See
in
here.
our lifetime, Mike, that's
Yeah.
that thing. You know, he's buying those. He's buying those two of those TV ads, basically.
Yeah. And then he had that. Oh God, who was this running mate? That the original Cheney.
General
Son of
Stockdale,
a.
wasn't it? Stockdale,
Oh
I think it
my
was
God,
Stockdale.
that guy. That's the dude. He had all these charts made up. Now say here. Now say here.
Yes.
I just love that man. Yeah.
And he was talking about the debt way back then. Imagine if he was talking
Yes.
about it now. $36 trillion in debt. We're screwed if we don't get this under control. But yeah, let's worry about that later.
Yeah, you're totally screwed. Are we? We're screwed financially? Okay. Free Palestine. Free. Yeah, let's go. People are so stupid. Here's the deal on these protests. These protests need to be ignored. These protests need to be given zero energy. We need to treat each of these little punks, these entitled little punks, and these old professor punks, teach them a lesson by treating them like our dog when you get home. And the dog's spazzing out and freaking out, and companies coming over freaking out. Just ignore them. And they calm down and they go away. This is it. The only reason why is because cameras are there. The only reason why they're there. And by the way, who cares that they're protesting? Let them. Let them. Who cares? Oh, they're going to get violent. Okay, let them get violent. Let them get arrested. Oh, they're stopping Jews from entering campus. Okay, let the campus take care of that. Why do I care about that in West Valley, Phoenix, Arizona?
So there was a kid quoted from my alma mater, Emerson College in Boston, and he was saying that they weren't going to leave their whatever occupation that they were doing in an alleyway until their demands were met. I'm like, okay, number one, what are your demands? And who are you to demand a college what to do and what not to do? Like, okay, but this is the problem, right? Because everyone in academia seems to be afraid of these kids and won't stand up to them. And
Yeah.
apparently their parents are the same way, that no one actually stood up to these kids. If you do it, they'll just yell and scream and they won't know what to do after that. So then you retake the advantage and be like, yes. And then you could always point out, do you have any idea what you're talking about? Do you know anything about the
Yeah.
Palestinian Authority or Hamas? Do you know anything about how the Palestinians live and how the only way they eat is through outside aid organizations? Oh, maybe you didn't know that. So you can say free Palestine all you want,
Yeah.
and let's say that we do. Let them go on their own. They don't have an economy. They don't produce anything. So that's just going to be squalor and poverty, even more so than it already is.
That's like when Bill Clinton literally offered them, dude, Gaza's yours. Y'all take it. We got this two-state solution. Israel's cool where they're at. You stay where you're at, and everybody's going to be good. Just try to play nice in the sandbox. They're like, we don't have a government. We don't know how to do this. We have nothing to offer. We just
Exactly.
he's like, okay, we'll give you a port. It's okay. We'll build it. It's all good. You know, I'm sure Halliburton's still around somewhere. We'll make it happen for you. Don't worry. And they're like, no. And the funny thing is, there was two students at NYU that came down from what was the first big campus that was going, Columbia?
Columbia. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, came down to NYU or up to NYU. I don't know how you work it in the Northeast. And so she was asked by a reporter, so you just come down. It's just second campus you're protesting on. How do you? I mean, what's what are you looking for? I don't know. I just heard that students were involved, cops were going to be involved. So, I wanted to stand with the students and stand with Palestine and really just, back the cause here. And she looks at her friend and says, do you know why we're here? And she goes, I wish I was more educated on exactly why, but I just know we should be here.
That's being 18, 19, 20 years old. You think you know everything. I thought I knew everything. I thought at that time I knew how to run a radio station because all I wanted to do is play hip-hop music, going back to what Mike said at the very beginning, which is ironic since I'm at the countryest of country music shows, Stagecoach, right now in an RV. Right? Exactly. Growing up. Morgan Wallen is playing on Sunday night. He's the big headliner. Yeah, so that'll be good. That'll be good. Damn, hopefully he won't get drunk and throw chairs off a roof bar in Nashville.
No, you hope he will. He'll be fine.
True. Yeah, it'll be it'll be good. I don't remember who's playing Saturday. We'll figure that out.
All right. Okay.
So to go back to all I want to do, and I'm like, these radio stations have no idea what they're doing. They need to play hip hop music, but hip hop music isn't commercially as viable as say Katy Perry. So radio stations don't do that. So me at 18 thinking I knew what radio stations should do, didn't know what radio stations should do. Just like these 20-year-old kids have no idea about world affairs. No idea what's right, what's wrong. No idea what Palestine is really all about. They just heard from some cause and that game of telephone happens where we spread the word, and everybody's showing up at noon. We're all going streaking like Will Ferrell in Old School.
Right. And still the rest of the world goes, who cares? They're laughing. They think this is hilarious. You think there are Palestinians, especially the leaders of Hamas, that are pulling all these strings that aren't even in Palestine, anywhere near Gaza, and they're watching this stuff on the news, going, "This is hilarious." They got the popcorn. There's, oh, this is great. Look at these boneheads. And the best part about this to me is that the you see all these. I would do this for a survey in these big protests. By a show of hands, how many people here on the LGBTQ spectrum? Let me give it to me. Somebody on the alphabet. Get by a show of hands. Good. If Hamas were here, you would be immediately killed. You would be thrown off a building, and you're supporting them. Oh, we hate genocide. We hate genocide. Yeah, you know who else hates genocide? The Jewish community. So, oh yeah, no genocide, no genocide. Okay, well, if you're gay, you want to get tossed off of a tower. They love doing that stuff. They'll hang you right here in the quad. I have zero problem with that.
They'll chop off your armor if you steal something. I mean, this is many times the punishment is, we worry about the death penalty in America. If you're a woman in many of those Middle Eastern countries, looking at a man the wrong way is a death sentence. That might be a slight exaggeration, but hey, check this out. I think it's in Iran. The same company, the country that funds Hamas.
Yeah.
If a man has an affair, I'm pretty sure the woman is stoned, his wife, that he has the affair on. Like, like that's the kind of place that you're supporting. And death and cruelty, plus all the sexual assault, the rape of the Hamas attack on October 7th. Because here's how this game works. If
you're raped, your whole family's branded.
Yes,
if a woman's raped, your family gets taken out.
See, like this is what you're supporting. I get it. You want people to be free. I want people to be free too. But if they're run by an oppressive government, they're not ever free until the repressive government that is perfectly fine sacrificing men to go kill the Jews on October 7th, and they're perfectly fine hiding their warriors behind women and children and putting them in hospitals because they don't care that women and children are human targets. Like, if that's the kind of organization you like, hey, that's cool. You just come out and say that. But that's that cold-hearted reality, and it's always these history lessons that seem cyclical, Mike, right? World War II, the lead up to World War II, you have Hitler, and the way he used language was very, I don't know how I want to word it, but it worked, right? It compelled an entire nation to be like, yeah, we need to conquer Europe and we need to take over and we need this great race because Hitler said so. That's the power of how an organization can use language to oppress people and make them go fight their fights, very similar to what Hamas is doing that, we have seen so many times in history. Like, yes, we'll just go send the weak and the poor to go fight, blow themselves up, to go die for us 9 billionaires or millionaires or whatever they are that run Hamas, that don't even live in Palestine, Gaza. They live in Qatar.
Yep. Or Qatar. I don't know which way to go. Tomato on that one. I just said. But here's the deal. Okay, so this woman is the leader of the Columbia protests. So let's just go straight to the source, and I'm going to be mean. So just for very clear, if y'all don't know me by now, and if y'all don't understand that I now terrestrial radio restraints taken off of me, I'm gonna come at this one. Here we go.
We can agree as a society, as a collective,
that we need dental programs. Obviously,
that people, some persons need to die if they have an ideology that results in the death of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions.
Okay.
If there are people like that who exist,
okay,
shouldn't they die?
Oh,
Zionists, they're Nazis.
Okay. Oh,
they're Nazis. They're fascists. They're supporters of genocide. Why would we want people who are supporters of genocide to live? I'm confused. Someone in the chat right now, should people who are supporters of genocide, should Zionists, aka Nazis, white supremacists, should they live?
Should the ones that are trying to kill all the Jews, should they? So then you're basically going on the same argument for the other side. You're literally making an argument to take out all of Hamas right now, all of them.
Yeah, and supporting genocide while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So are
But
you
don't kill all them
asking?
because they're Zionists?
Well, and that's it, right? It's the weird. I don't know how this infects people's brains, but it does. Like the absence of critical thinking. I don't know if it's part everybody got a trophy, there are no losers. On top of that, children aren't challenged as much as they used to because if your feelings are upset, we cater to those feelings instead of you saying it's just an emotion. Figure out how to work through it without being destructive to you and your relationships. That's not the world we live in anymore. It's so emotion forward that it blocks critical thinking abilities so that this person was leading the Columbia protest while supporting genocide is saying, if people support genocide, should they be killed? Well, what are you actually suggesting?
Exactly.
The same thing you're complaining about. So there's just not connections going on in the brain somehow.
Or her two front teeth. I'm telling you, she could eat a corn cob through a chain link fence. So there is but there's a not even fundamental. I'm just going to say there's a very obvious pattern through all of these protests. Even the professors, which is funny. I watched the professor get taken down today, and it just made me giggle. So watching these people get taken down is fun for me. But the theme that we see going across, the commonalities with all of these is they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Literally, these I would say these liberal white parents that are sending their kids the scarves and stuff to wear in their protests is yes, you're doing such a good job out there. Have no damn idea apparently how life works. And I don't know where we got that, where we landed there. I mean, I think my kids are pretty well adjusted. They're not going to run in any campus protest or anything like that. My daughter's at a university right now. She's worried about, I don't know, finals. But these bozos just hoping finals are canceled so they can, I was protesting. You can't make me do finals. And all these little elite Northeastern schools like, that's right, we're canceling finals. Everyone gets an A in protest.
Well, and that's a great point because if you look at the history of the civil rights movement and the people that were involved in that protest, it's very glorified. But that was a different cause. There was very clearly obvious discrimination, so much so, white only, colored, or black, or whatever. It was as obvious as the day is long, the injustice. So people that were marching were sending a message to Washington, D.C. that it was time for a change. And that was spurned by Dr. Martin Luther King primarily. There was a lot of others who marched in different locations, but Dr. King was the face of it. And if you look at his language and the way he tried to unify people to point out the wrongs, particularly in the South, it was a better message to bring people together, to unify, but kids are taught that that's the way to enact change, protest. But you need a leader like Dr. King in order to usher the change past we're college kids and we set up a bunch of tents and we're not leaving the alley until the college meets our demands. What are your demands? No business with Israel. Do you know if they do any business with Israel or companies that are based there? I have no idea. Okay, great. So what if they don't meet your demands? What are you going to do? Stay in this alley. Okay, for how long? Till the police come or the college recognizes this. Okay, great. So basically this is about you, not actually about the Palestinians you're supposedly trying to save by simply sitting in an alley in a tent. Yeah. You realize how silly that sounds, that number one, it's not even in this country. It's half a world away, and you want the United States government to stop funding Israel. Okay, good luck with that one.
The only democracy in the area, the only where anyone actually has rights. That is, mm-hmm. I absolutely love that. Don't even get me started on this whole apartheid state nonsense. It's absolutely the Israelis should give the Palestinians or the Palestinian Authority all the rights, this and that. It's like us saying that the Mexicans and Canadians should have the same rights as the United States. We should force that on them. What? They're a different country. They're not even it. And I understand it is a good point. Truman, by the way, yes, it is an authority. I totally understand that. And yeah, but it's just you get caught up in it's Palestine, Israel. It just makes it so much easier, really, is what it does. I see I'm not going to. Nope, I'm not going to say who it was. So let's just go ahead and say a friend of mine actually showed me an app on her phone that is a boycott app. You take a picture of what you have in front of you, and it tells you whether or not you should boycott it. There, we're done. It's just I thought about that kid in the alleyway at Emerson College or whatever, and it was like just like he's sitting on his Apple made by kids in China, and he's got all his demands. And he crossed it. He took a sticker and put it over the Starbucks logo on his cup, so you don't interrupt his daily latte. So he
going to
that thing. Yeah. So he has
$70,000 a year college at Emerson.
Thank you.
Yeah, as white privilege as it possibly could be.
And these kids don't even care because they think that all of their student loans are going to be forgiven.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, the whole we're not letting Jewish people into campus and stuff like that. Those Jewish parents should be like, okay, good, refund. I'm taking my money somewhere else, my $70,000 a year somewhere else. And this is just, people, we can walk with our wallets. That's fine. And if you want to boycott Starbucks because they stood with Israel, they have a location in Israel or something like that. Guess what? So does McDonald's, so does Burger King. So you're gonna have to basically boycott everyone. It's like when California decided to boycott Arizona over SB 1070. It's like, oh, by the way, you get your power and your water from us. You guys want to do that? Oh, we didn't know that. We love Arizona. It's a great place. We just didn't want our people to travel there when it was hot.
Yeah, so it's tourism prevention, right? Yeah, exactly. Well, and I just love this whole thing because it points out all of the ways that we get distracted and the media tries to distract us because it's very true. These kids have no idea what they're talking about. These kids are the most privileged human beings that have ever been born. They were born in a technological era where almost all of the world's information is available to them on a device we carry around with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So for them to sit here and do this is obviously obnoxious. But the media is always looking for something controversial. So they go there to the alley and they interview the Emerson kid and they don't go, hey, kid, you're spending about $75,000 to live here at Emerson College every single year. Yeah. Do you really think you're in a position? Can you imagine if you just decided to take out a loan for $75,000 and give it to 10 Palestinian families? They could probably live for 10 years given that part of the world and all they need. Why don't you donate your college expenses to Palestinian families?
Yeah, sure.
If you really want to make a difference, right? If this is what you're really caring about, you would say, I'm dropping out of college and I am moving to Gaza and I'm going to work for an aid organization because there are hundreds of thousands of people that have done that in life, probably millions of people, incredibly motivated to help. So go do that then, instead of just flaunting your white privilege and getting on television because you're white and you complain because you sat in an alley in a tent hoping to solve some problem that hasn't been solved for 1,000 years.
Yeah, and by the way, go put that on your resume.
Yeah, exactly.
The only company to hire you maybe would be Starbucks, but they stand with Israel. So good luck with the unemployment.
Yep. Well, I want to go back to this boycott thing, Mike, real quick, because we've talked that we have some younger friends, and the amount of labels that they put on themselves in order to be cool is insane. They have made it so difficult because you have to keep up with every cause. So you need a simple solution by putting up your phone. Can I buy this or can I not? And if you're going to live life like that, you're going to give up real quick because it's too much of a pain in the ass to live life like that.
Right. It's like quitting everything. It's like on January 1st, you're going to quit smoking. You're going to quit drinking. You're going to drop 20 pounds. You're going to go all carbless or whatever. You're like, within day 2, I'm pulling at least one of those back. Like Morgan Wallen said, I'm only quitting one thing at a time.
Yes. See,
it's a great song, by the way. Just make sure you hear that one. Yeah, so one thing at a time. It's fantastic.
Okay, I've heard the liquor talk or whatever. Last night we let the liquor talk that has been played throughout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have the line. I have the line up here. We can cover that. Yeah, we can cover that in a minute. But here's the deal. Bottom line: ignore them all. Ignore the protesters. Don't give them any. Don't even turn off whatever news channel you watch when they start covering the protests. Gone, done. Show them what's up. We don't care. We just don't care. It's now just comedy. It is laughable. Okay, I got Morgan Wallen on here, buddy. The Beach Boys you mentioned. All right, Beach Boys you mentioned. Post Malone will be there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, Elle King. I saw Elle King when she was here. She has a bit of what they call in the rock business a drinking problem. So just, boring. Just sat there chewing her gum while she was singing and just kind of like moved her shoulders around. That's it.
Huh.
Nothing. And then the last word of the last song, she just turned around and walked out.
Wow.
Yeah. Rob
Okay.
Schneider should be proud.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Diplo's there. Leon Bridges, that's who you're all about. Eric Church, that's tonight. Buddy Willie Nelson is there.
Gotta see Willie.
Can you hunt him down? You've got to check that off the list. Willie is Wiz Khalifa, don't care. Miranda Lambert still puts on a good show. Nickelback. What? Okay.
Nickelback is here.
Okay. Dwight Yoakam, of course. You're all about Dwight Yoakam.
Gotta go see Dwight.
Clint Black is there. Please go see Clint Black if you can. I'm just out of I saw Clint Black. It's kind of like King George, Clint Black, same era, same,
Nice.
Yeah. Solid. Is here. And then Maddie and Tay, whatever, they're just hot. And then let's see here, Willie Jones. I don't know who these people are. So, but I don't know who the big headliner is for the. Oh well, I don't know half these people now. This is a list, dude. Are you serious? How many shows are going on?
Yeah, there's 2 stages. It starts. I think they start performing at 2 or 2:30, and they run till 11 o'clock at night. I think, and then they have the Diplo parties in this tent that just becomes a dance party. So it's supposed to be pretty legit. So we'll see. We'll see how long my old man butt can last.
Jelly Roll,
Jelly
Hardy.
Roll.
Now we're getting this up here. Jelly Roll is just hard to look at. I'm really sorry, but it just is. Jelly Roll is just hard to look at. That dude is interesting. Yeah. But they don't actually have like, here's the headliner of the day on this thing. They just have like, everything's in like alphabetical order by hot chocolate.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, if you're looking for that, there's plenty around in the RV park. Yeah, there's plenty of that for everybody now. The whole spectrum of whatever you fall in the sexual preference. There's lots of good-looking people here. So a lot of Trump flags, by the way. A lot of F Biden flags. FJB. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there's did you see the New York union guy? They said, do you have any message for Joe Biden? He said, yeah, F you. And just walked out. He's like, this is all changed. There's already one labor union that's backing Trump in New York. Trump's like, I have a shot here. I legitimately have a shot here.
Well, and this is what's interesting. I was just talking to somebody about this, how the parties are, in a way, changing. A lot of Democrat policies used to protect union workers. But now their economic policies crush union workers because union workers' wages are set in stone because of contracts. So they can't keep up with inflation. So union workers, the Democrats' big base. Joe Biden has brown-nosed union workers and unions his entire 117-year political career.
True.
And now some unions are recognizing that they can't keep up now because even the new inflation number came out today. The Fed's not happy about it because it's going the wrong way.
Right.
And in getting prepared to fill up this RV with groceries, again, it is sticker shock. And I know there is a sense of privilege that I have that I get to do this, but you're like, okay, dang, because now I have to cut back. And gas out here is $1 more than it is where we are. It's crazy.
I literally just loaded up at Fry's today on Starbucks gift card because I told you I'm addicted to Starbucks cold brew. I just am. I don't care if they stand with Israel, pal. Who gives a rat's? I love their coffee. I'm addicted to it. I'm just rolling with it. So it was like 4 times points on gift cards. And I like get $200 a gift. I'm going to spend it eventually. So I was like, now I have banked up $3 off of gas because I have to. Just have to.
The only way.
This is dumb. Let's do this. Let's get to the Supreme Court if we could. Rob, I don't know if you've been catching up to this. The big case was the oral arguments for Donald Trump's immunity hearing. And what this was all about essentially was no matter what Donald Trump said on January 6th, he should be fine. He didn't break any laws, but he should be immune because he was still the president of the United States. And there's actually a DOJ attorney there that was the most unsympathetic, horrible type of attorney you could put in front of them. But, it's the Biden White House. They're all about diversity and inclusion. This was a DEI hire trust me. This is not the guy you wanted to go up against Trump's dude, because Trump's dude was ready. Trump's dude came in there with, can we just go back on the rest of the, if by the way, if you don't give the president immunity on this, who else is going to get rung up next? Who else? Maybe Joe Biden. Don't have to worry about that. But what about W lying to us about weapons of mass destruction? What about Barack Obama, President Obama, absolutely turning a United States citizen without due process into a vapor cloud with a drone?
And his son. It was two. Yep. Yeah.
How about, so let's go back to Clinton. Let's go back. How far are we going to go back where we're going to ring every single president up now and not give them immunity? And he even asked, do those presidents deserve immunity? And all of them are like, yep. Okay. And then you're going to ring a president up for talking? The dude actually killed a U.S. citizen, but Trump's getting it for a speech. I don't want to hear it.
Well, and then, it'll be interesting to see what they do, because the way that I read the story was that they're maybe looking at some type of carve-out where this type of action is not immune from prosecution. However, if you assassinate an American citizen without a trial, without arrest warrant, that's totally fine, because it was in the name of terrorism, and there's a legal provision for that somewhere buried deep into. But I don't know. But see,
there's not a law against talking either. There's literally no law against saying go down and peacefully. He said the word peacefully. He didn't break any damn law.
No, but what they're saying is the RICO statute in Georgia is part of this, I think, too, in that, they're alleging that behind the scenes, so the Arizona electors, the fake electors, Dr. Kelly Ward, who ran the Republican Party, my state senator or representative, a guy named Anthony Kern was on there. Tyler Boyer was on there. He was on our show a couple times, Russell and Hunter. So that whole team got indicted. And that's an interesting question to me, because what that RICO case in Georgia alleges is that Trump was the mafia boss behind the scenes telling people to go do this and call the fake electors in Michigan. I don't know if that is immunity or not. And that's why this is so interesting, because you can make a case, I think, both ways. But where is that slippery slope? Because if that is something that a president could be charged for, what else is in that category?
And that, okay, so let's go to that then. I mean, as far as the president can pretty much do whatever the president wants in an official capacity. That's the way it's been. If you're going to pick one, you better have a stronger case. You better pick a better act. Maybe the Soleimani thing or whatever it was. If you want to find out, I don't even think that's a solid case. There's no solid case that trumps any of the, no pun intended, that trumps any of the previous president's actions. And if you just want to carve out because you don't like that guy, well, crap. That is election interference. It's key. There's no way the Supremes will let this stand. There's absolutely no way the Supremes let this stand, especially if you can go back to the 2016 election and Hillary and the DNC doing the same damn thing. That is basically in our Constitution. It has happened in the 1800s where we have two sets of electors. It just has happened. And if that comes down and the states totals don't get whacked, thrown onto the side, they actually let the House of Representatives decide who gets who becomes the president of the United States. And that's where we got Rutherford B. Hayes. I mean, it's happened before. So
it's happened, I think, twice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Donald Trump acting illegally, it's not illegal. It's shady, sure. But so was the DNC in 2016 doing the same thing. I have a 2-minute video that I don't want to play you right now of all of these celebrities encouraging the electors of the Electoral College to change their vote to Hillary Clinton, to vote their conscience and be heroes, go down in history as heroes.
Which that is within the elector's purview to be able to do that. The elector can vote for whoever they want. However, if Biden wins and it's certified, and then you sign something that says, no, I'm the actual elector, that's that question. But going up to the president, can it nail the president or just the people that did the act? Because that's essentially what we're going to find out. Because now, what is it? Michigan, Arizona, and I think one other state, maybe it's Wisconsin. Has done these indictments, and we'll see if this carries forth. But it's almost like the P. Diddy thing. The P. Diddy thing, the raid at P. Diddy's properties happened, a month ago now, 3 weeks ago? Haven't heard a thing about that since then. No, and that's that other part of, are we just going to charge everybody and never actually go through with everything or circle around the wagons? And I want to point something out about DEI. just for a second, because
Okay. That's it.
Mike
That's
and
an
I,
interesting pivot.
I know. Well, you brought it up as far as the attorney goes, but
Okay.
it ties in together here because the president of the United States is a white guy. DEI, right? Vice President Kamala Harris, and nobody likes Kamala Harris. Not even Democrats like Kamala Harris because she's horrible at her job. So that's an example of a DEI hire. And what is the point of a DEI hire? To make a white guy look good. End of story. You're never going to back me down on that because Mike and I can cite you at least one example that we know of firsthand. People that we may or may not know and may or may not have worked for. It's always about trying to make the top white person look good because I embrace DEI. So let's stop fooling ourselves that this is going to be the thing, whether it's the Biden administration or a company that's going to make the world more equitable. No, it's so the white bosses can stay the white bosses, but we get caught up because there's race in there. So that's all I wanted to add about DEI. I was thinking about that on my travels, Mike.
Okay. Well, there you go. Wow. All right. Wait. It wasn't when you were driving the RV because I want to know what that experience was like because Rob drives a little Honda Civic. So it's there's that to an RV. You had to have been clenching, dude. Seriously, dude. You got into that's a big beast. That's a big beast. Come on.
So I was smart. So basically we've been traveling a lot. In Toronto, I mentioned we drove to Niagara Falls. I rented a truck because it was $20 for the day. I'm like, yeah, let's take a Dodge Ram and get used to drive something a little bigger. And then when I came back to Florida, I was in a Dodge Durango, big, huge SUV. So I felt more confident going in. But I went slow and low, man. Just slow, wide turns, take my time. Don't try to speed through yellow lights. Just go slow. But yeah, it was like looking out the mirrors.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't have much wiggle room here before I smash the car next to me.
Mm-hmm. Got to keep it between those, the navigational beacons there. But that's tell me the first time you stopped that thing. You're like, oh shit, oh sorry.
Yes,
You're like,
yeah.
crap. You're like, ah,
and I was following Amy in her CRV, and I was like, she just has a regular. I'm like, oh, and I pressed the brake, a little something flew off the table, or like whoops.
Yeah, it's not. There's a lot of weight behind that, dude. It takes.
It
takes a lot. The Supremes are going to do right on this. I just know they are, and then it's going to be it's an illegitimate court, and court sake, this stuff like that. And I believe that we, the people, look at this and look at it for what it is, and realize that now the presidents don't have immunity because it's Trump, and then we can go after. I mean, there's countless things that if the Supremes pull this one. The Bidens are toast. I mean, it would just add a sour grapes. Biden's entire legacy would be one of criminality in the next go around. That it would just be. It's just stop. The Supremes will do what the Supremes do.
And even I was actually thinking about this from a different context, Mike. In that we're already in the constant investigation of the other side mentality. So getting rid of the immunity will also do that. It will every decision a president makes, because the other side could try to find an advantage in that. And if you could tie up a president legally, if you can tie up a president in court, if he's running for re-election, if he's still in office, you can make that president a moot president, and you can pile on the narrative, sell the fear about how horrible that person is, and to put you in this great position if you're the opposite party. Because that's the real part that we have witnessed is how much power the government has through Congress, both the House and the Senate, to investigate. And the Democrats were very effective in doing that constantly to Donald Trump, which again comes back to this point. Trump winning is not enough. We have to remember that. If you're worried about Trump's agenda, if he doesn't have a House and the Senate, Trump's agenda is probably not getting done. So that's the other part of this tricky equation is you almost need either party to have a sweep of all three branches to avoid the constant investigations, because Republicans are now doing it to Joe Biden, though I haven't heard much lately about the Hunter Biden money. Have we just fallen off that one and given up? I'm not sure. Yep. It seems that that's the case.
Just like we'll not learn anything about Diddy, Epstein. Mm-hmm. They're just taking care of their own. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But it's going to continue. It really ain't going to stop because that's just what it is.
And maybe this is the natural path, as you always say, Mike, right? We had a freedom point in 1789. We wrote it down what that freedom meant. And now at 2024, it's working back towards what we had to rebel against in different ways, not necessarily taxes, although that's a huge part of it, but all these investigations, because it's all your money that they're wasting investigating each other so they can have power to spend your money.
And Greg, yes, it's all going to go away. This is. I mean, there is an immunity. The president of the United States does have it. Is acting in an official capacity. It's how we run the thing. And the list of charges against all of them. It's just bye. And
well,
this will solidify that as well. But then you see, Ketanji, Miss Justice Jackson, if you're nasty, asking insane questions about, okay, well, what if a president is reelected? She's talking about Trump, and he orders the assassination of his predecessor, or something like that.
Political rival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with that crap, stop it. Just okay, stop. But it just went off the rails because the left in Jackson Sotomayor, not Kagan, she's a G. Sotomayor and Jackson just went off the rails with these hypotheticals that were just like, okay, guys, you're that desperate. Let's make the opinion now. Let's rule in favor of the Trumps and just move on.
Yeah, I'd be curious. That is a decision I'm definitely going to want to read word for word to figure out the logic behind it. Because to me, the question is, was Trump really acting in an official capacity? And for them to have to figure that out, because how is he not? He was the president. So is it covered because it's this blanket thing? Because that is it. If there is immunity, someone at some point in American history was going to bump up against it and test that very feature that is given to a president, and this is that time to test it and see, because the answer to the question, whatever way the court decides, if Mike is right, or if it somehow John Roberts and who knows, Kavanaugh joins the other side, and then all of a sudden we have maybe a slippery slope.
I just don't. I don't think to me it's okay. If we're going to go after the W's, we're going to go after the Obamas for things that are infinitely more salacious than having a speech and getting everybody all fired up and riled up. We now have undercover footage talking with an agent saying there's about 60 of us in there. We know that. We're not stupid. We, the people, knew that the feds had people in the crowd. This is dumb. So there really isn't this just kind of goes along in the long list of crap that Trump has to put up with. Out of 330 million Americans, there's one that literally lives rent-free in about half of America's heads. It is absolutely blinding to me. It's absolutely blinding in an entire system, whether it's Department of Justice, whether it's whatever it's the intelligence service, whatever it is, in local community. Local judiciaries, local governments. This guy is just it's an onslaught to take this guy out. And this is not what's going to change precedent. The Supremes aren't going to allow that to change precedent. They're not stupid. They know what's going on.
We'll see. I don't know. I can't predict it. I can't call it. So I'm very curious to see what this decision is, what it amounts to, because I just trying to predict the Supreme Court. This version of it is pretty tricky, in my opinion. So I'm a little curious to see how it goes.
I'm going 7-2 on this one. I think Kagan jumps. I think Kagan comes over to the side of the Constitution. She's a brilliant mind. I remember it was oh boy, which justice was it? I forget which justice it was. Scalia. It was Antonin. He was like, look, if he went to the Obama administration, he went to Rahm Emanuel at the time. He goes, give us Elena Kagan. He goes, I'm not sure you're not going to give us anyone with our ideology. You're not going to give us anybody with, you're going to go left as you can. Give us Elena Kagan. That's what they wanted. Like the team. As a team, we voted and we like Elena Kagan. She's that smart. She's that brilliant. So
she'll give you your side. Mm-hmm.
I hope she come. Yeah. But they took Sotomayor and then they went to basically Obama again. It was like, we ain't playing this time. And that's why Kagan came around.
Although I love the left. So some people on the left crying because it was a story that Sotomayor traveled with a medical aid. They're like, she needs to retire now just in case Trump wins. Oh, my God.
That would be the greatest thing That would be the most amazing thing
Uh,
if she steps down right after Trump's inauguration. Oh my God! Just stop.
the left would go nuts.
Just
The
watch
journalists
them
would
go
freak out.
straight apoplectic. Let's go to the absolute insanity on a Friday. Let's do the absolute insanity that it was and is COVID-19 and the continuing profit off of COVID-19. And now with the more studies are coming out, more studies are coming out of the UK, more studies are coming out of other countries that aren't playing politics with people's lives. That this was all just a bunch of nonsense, a wild overreaction, and the shot actually dangerous for most people, and that's why countries are pulling it from the shelves. Just like we got to come to something else. Everybody was here making money. That's what it was. Dr. Wynn on CNN was there shilling books. Both of the Guptas, both of the Dr. Guptas, MSNBCs and CNNs, were there making money. Dr. Hotez making money. By the way, Dr. Hotez was just this little worm weasel that worked at a medical center. He was in virology. I'll give him that. In immunization, I will give him that. But boy, did he crawl out, and isn't he at all the nice parties now? Isn't he at all the DC? Here he is shilling his next book. And calling people unvaxxed moms out. Listen to this.
And we're not anti-vaccine.
We're not. Well,
we're please. This is what I want. Please hear our side. Okay.
Why is he in his tuxedo? It's a really nice shindig over there. Looks like an art gallery. Very nice.
I respect you. I respect your credentials. I don't have letters behind my name, but I am a mom. I care about my children. We don't want our children to get sick. We respect the infections for their ability, what they could possibly do, the dangers that they could possibly
Then why are you putting your kids in harm's way?
Because we don't have confidence in the vaccine program for issues.
Yeah,
that you
but that's
don't
because of this
understand.
misinformation.
It's
That's not true.
No, it's not.
They're treating you. You know, you're
information.
functioning as the useful idiots of the anti-vaccine lobby.
Why are you?
You're the useful idiots, says Dr. Oz. You're functioning as the useful idiots of the anti-vaccine lobby. Just absolutely unbelievable. This man is still sticking to his guns after we're seeing more and more reports come out that he was dead bleeping wrong. I'm sorry, it's not unbelievable because he's making money on this, and that is everybody. They've all lost their credibility. There's nobody that has written a book or anybody's invested in Pfizer, Moderna, anything like that has any credibility left with me if they claiming to be a doctor.
And this is my big realization throughout this was people like Hotez is that expertise is dead. It's just dead in that idea that there's someone out there that is all knowing, all powerful when it comes to, in this case, a virus. We put all these virologists and immunologists and whoever else up as these experts, and they tried, and they got it wrong, and they misled you when they started to get it wrong, because they didn't want to let go of the narrative because it's money, but it's also their reputations. So for them to make money on their reputation is better than not having a reputation and not making any money. So they're anchored into these positions. They're anchored in and they're not coming out. The good news is you no longer have to listen to them. And I think that that's the most empowering part. And for me, Mike, going forward, I trust myself and the research that I can do, and I know the research that you did, Mike, during the pandemic, that I can forge my best path forward. And I think that was a great realization that I had. So I'm just trying to turn this into a positive today, Mike, as I'm out here at Stagecoach.
Sure. Yeah. That country music, that just good old America vibe.
That's right.
India, buddy. Yeah.
By the way, next door they did the Star Spangled Banner, so they still were proud about that. Put that on the big speaker. They all stood up, put their hands on their hearts. That's the kind of place I'm in. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Nothing wrong with that. It gets a little weird though, especially if you're trying to go to the bathroom at the time in your RV and they start playing. You're like, I don't want to stand up right now. Do I just put my just like this? I don't know.
Yeah.
According to one FBI agent that was filmed undercover, and it was 60 was the number they threw out. So
that doesn't surprise me. And I think that, honestly, I feel that the January 6th, as soon as Trump announced the plans, the FBI was like, perfect, let's do this. And they went in and did what they do, which look at any history of the FBI. Go back to the very beginning of it. This is what the FBI does. And I think that we all need to recognize that. So whoever is our presidential candidate of choice going forward, 2024, 2028, don't fall into the trap because they're trying to trap you. They want you to mess up, step up, where they can step in and fire up things and get their way. Like that to me is a massive realization, whether I like Trump or I don't like Trump, or like what Trump did or didn't like what Trump did. That overarching consistency is the FBI usually acts unconstitutionally.
I agree with that. There was more from Dr. Hotez right there, but I didn't want to look at him anymore. He actually she asked him a scientific, she asked him a stat question. His response was, "Read the book."
Wow,
disgusting. Just
read the book, of which I edited out everything critical of.
I went back and looked at all my MSNBC and CNN appearances, and I made sure that all of those stats lined up in the book.
Unbelievable. Yeah. But that's, these guys they're televangelists, right? The worst kind of televangelists.
Yeah. And by the way, the immunity for the pharmaceutical companies was only for the United States. There's a lot of lawsuits going up against Moderna and Pfizer right now. So just absolutely. And can you imagine J&J? That thing was pulled. Oh yeah. Just when you thought that was the safe one. For the love of grief.
Right.
Let's get to some of these before we let Rob get back to his country bumpkin. Let's see here. You would think that, Truman. You would think that absolutely that there would be some cred involved in. You know what? We totally screwed that one up. Yeah, we did. Here's why we did it. And you know something? There was a lot of strings being pulled, and a lot of people making a lot of money, and it was fast, furious, and we went at it. We wasted a lot of money. A lot of people were there ready to pick up the giant crumbs known as fraud, and we're really sorry, guys. We screwed up. It'd be a lot of credit in that for sure.
Well, that's how you rebuild trust when you don't get it right, especially in these circumstances. We would be forgiving if you were forthcoming, if you evolved during the course of the pandemic. And I think it was very egotistic of us to think we could outrun a virus anyways. Look, we're great. We're advanced a ton. We're just not at the point where we as humans can go, okay, there's 8 billion people spread across 190-something countries. We're just going to be able to wash our hands and stand 6 feet apart, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Obviously not.
What happened to all those dangerous variants? Where'd they go? Yep. Exactly. Oh, thanks, Lynn. I appreciate it. Today on the Go Show, we talked about horses, the feral horse problem. A very giant feral horse problem in our state, and it's time to do something, and there's lawsuits to do something. Yeah, I helped them along. They said they have horse traps set out, and they're just big pens. They're pens, really, that they go in. They have guys in ghillie suits out there closing the gate behind them, like okay, we got them. And I'm like, dude, call them pony pens. Don't call them traps, bro. We're winning hearts and minds here.
Yeah, exactly.
Hearts and minds. Pony pens. That works. Clint Black is a popular dude. You got to go see Clint Black.
Will do.
Yeah, yes. And yes, there is a boycotting app. And what do you mean, what's wrong with Jews? Am I missing something? Yeah, all the protests, Lynn, they just hate Jewish people. All of them. Like every one of them. Steen, Mann, Berg, if your name ends with that, you're not getting back on one of these campuses. And if you're on campus, you're hunkered down somewhere. Yeah. And Jennifer, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, the person that took over that time slot there on that old radio station over there. Yeah, he's annoying. That's right. They're mishearing us every day. Thank you very much. We can hang out right here with us. We're all good. We're all good. Mm-hmm. And Lynn, good for you for never wishing somebody dead. I have a list. Let me see. Hold on. Maybe I can get to the list here. I ain't playing, man. I have a lengthy list. You are a better man than I, sir. You are a better man than I. Let's see here. These schools are going to conflict in the Middle East. They're not governments. Yes, because we got rid of civics. We got rid of government classes. We got rid of all of that, and we replaced it with social studies. That's why our kids will never get caught up on exactly how things work. Because if the kids were caught up on how things work, guess what? There'd be no power to divide us and have nonsense like we're seeing in these protests.
It's all done by design, and that's part of the way it has to be won back is different ideas, new ideas, pro-American ideas, not anti-everything that colonization has brought the world. Yeah, like the smartphone that you use. There's that. There's, food distribution. There's the steam engine. There's the vehicle that we all drive in, the subway system. All of these modern innovations that came to us through colonization, as you like to call it, that have made our lives so amazing. We could set up a tent in Boston and pretend we're solving the Palestinian
Right.
crisis.
And you're protesting a country that quite literally is the only free nation in the Middle East. The only nation that their rights, the citizens actually have rights. Sitting right there, and you're protesting against it. Zionists. Holy mackerel. Appreciate that those words, Truman, agreeing with Jennifer. Appreciate it. And let's see here. Was since the first week on a 4-year journey. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you, Greg. Definitely appreciate you there. And Lynn, why? I'm assuming you're asking why I have a list of people that I wish that I don't wish them. I was just kidding. I was actually trying to find the list from Stagecoach that I saw, but it was it's this weird thing. I was actually looking for the Stagecoach. I was going to say this. Here's my list of people right here. I don't wish them dead. Maybe an elongated life of misery. I think maybe that's what I'm wishing. I don't know. We'll see. There's a line. Some bounce up, some bounce down. Rob, you got anything else, buddy?
Man. Thanks for being here, everybody, with us as we transition into our new journey. Please remember to share it. If you've got friends that are tired of business as usual, tired of the routine that you get by turning on the radio, we're here for you. We love you. Let's go, baby. Let's create something amazing that actually helps people.
Yeah. You got a friend in me. I don't know why I got that in there. It's the Toy Story. Let's make it happen. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Rob, dude, just crush it. Send me some pictures, will you? I mean, does it hurt? Would it hurt to send your boy a picture? Would it hurt to send a video? Seriously, am I asking too much?
No. I'll take care of it.
You don't write.
I know. I'll be home soon, Mikey. Don't worry.
All right, buddy. All right. We'll definitely end the years over that. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday at 4 right here on the Brewmance.